path of annual solar eclipse included Ooty, Kozhikode, Coimbatore in India, while partial phases of the eclipse were visible from all over the country depending upon geographical position. People in southern India could see a greater part of the eclipse because of its path. Now, an annular solar eclipse, of course, is one when moon blocks the sun's center. The resultant effect is to make the sun look like a ring or annulus of fire. A solar eclipse takes place when the moon passes between Earth and the sun, thereby totally or partly obscuring the sun for a viewer on the Earth. Today on In Depth, we look at how the world watched this extraordinary celestial phenomena, its scientific reasons and other aspects related to it as well. India and the world witnessed a rare celestial event in the form of annular solar eclipse on Thursday. This eclipse was special since it was annular eclipse, which happens when the moon covers the sun's center, leaving the sun's visible outer edges to form a thin ring on the sun's surface.
2019's only annular eclipse and the third and final solar eclipse of this year was visible along a narrow path in the world's eastern hemisphere. The annular solar eclipse, the last one for the decade, began at around 8 a.m. this morning and lasted till about 11:15 a.m. As per Indian Standard Time, the eclipse was visible from 9:04 a.m. The maximum eclipse was visible at around 10:47 a.m. and the full eclipse was seen at the last location at the Pacific Ocean's Guam at 12:30 a.m. In India, the maximum duration of the annular solar eclipse was just over 3 minutes. The eclipse was witnessed by thousands of enthusiastic people, especially in Kerala. The rest of the country could see a partial solar eclipse. Partial phases of the solar eclipse were visible from various parts, including Bhubaneswar, Chennai, Mumbai, Nagpur, in varying magnitude depending on its geographical position. However, thick fog in several parts of the national capital blocked the view of the much-awaited solar eclipse.
I think it is after a long time that an annular eclipse has been visible from India, because I don't remember having ever heard of an annular eclipse to be visible from India. It must have been visible from other places, and as I told you that a solar eclipse is visible only from a few places from where the shadow actually follows. So maybe India didn't come, or the shadow of the annular eclipse didn't pass over India for a long time. So this was a rare phenomenon for Indians especially. See, today also, the annular eclipse that took place this morning, it was visible throughout India. But we couldn't see the annular eclipse from all parts of the India. It was seen only in a very small strip along South India. Mangalore was one of those places from where it was, the annular phase was seen. But from Delhi we saw only partial eclipse.
I'm pretty excited, yeah. So once in a lifetime kind of thing. I can see it's starting to come out right now actually, so it's pretty good.
As you can see, there are a lot of people who have come to break myths about it as well. Myths like you cannot eat during this time, you cannot step out of your house at this time. So I think that's important for the public and people to understand that these myths should not be held too strongly, and it's a beautiful scientific event that should be understood and enjoyed when we get a chance.
आज यहाँ देखने के लिए आए, बड़ी उत्सुकता से सुबह उठे, परंतु उतना satisfaction नहीं हुआ due to बादल, clouds. It's
an amazing event, so we thought we should be here watching it physically, and the government and the association has done a very nice job of providing all the facilities, including some good telescopes, and we are happy that we are getting sun filters here and we are able to see the eclipse properly in an effective manner.
एक्चुअली अनएक्सपेक्टेडली अभी हमें नहीं देख पाया है क्योंकि लास्ट 2 डेज से बारिश हो रही है नागपुर में, सो पॉसिबल नहीं हुआ. बहुत मायूस हो गए हम, इतना दूर से देखने आए थे बट पॉसिबल नहीं था. तो नेक्स्ट टाइम अब देखते हैं कब होता है.
A solar eclipse occurs when the moon moves between the sun and the earth. The moon causes the light of the sun to be blocked from reaching earth, casting a shadow on earth. There are 3 types of eclipses: partial, total and annular. A total solar eclipse is when the moon completely blocks the sun. A partial solar eclipse is when the moon only blocks part of the sun. The annular solar eclipse, often called a ring of fire eclipse, happens when the moon covers the sun's center, leaving the sun's visible outer edges to form a thin ring of the sun's surface or annulus around the moon.
Annular eclipse occurs when the sun is the nearest and the moon is the farthest from earth. So when the sun is the nearest to earth, it looks larger, and when the moon is the farthest from earth, it looks smaller. So at that time, the situation is such that when the moon comes in front of the sun, it cannot cover the entire face of the sun. So there is a ring around it. That's why it is called annular. Annulus means a ring. So this is a phenomenon which we see again depending on the position of the sun and the moon. But most of the time when a solar eclipse occurs, the size of the sun and the moon as seen from earth, they appear almost equal. That's why you can have total solar eclipses.
Besides India, the eclipse was visible in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, Oman, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, Northern Mariana Islands and Guam. The next solar eclipse is scheduled for 21st June 2020 and will be visible in parts of Asia, Europe, North Australia and Africa. Bureau Report, RSTV.
Thick fog in several parts of the national capital blocked the view of much-awaited solar eclipse. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, too, could not witness the solar eclipse due to fog and cloudy skies in New Delhi. He posted his pictures trying to see the solar eclipse. In a tweet, he later said that he managed to get the glimpses of the eclipse from Kozhikode and other parts of the country on live stream. The Prime Minister said he enriched his knowledge on the subject by interacting with the experts. People gathered to watch the last eclipse of the decade, especially the Ring of Fire across the world. The eclipse was first seen in Saudi Arabia, and residents of Guam were the last to witness it.
Besides India, the annular eclipse was visible from parts of Saudi Arabia, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, Oman, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, Northern Mariana Islands and Guam. UAE residents witnessed the annular solar eclipse on Thursday. Zayed City, the south of the Emirati capital, was the only place where people could watch the eclipse and see the ring of fire, where the moon covers center of the sun, leaving the edges lit up. The eclipse was visible in downtown Dubai and Abu Dhabi, but only partially. UAE Space Agency and Dubai Astronomy Group also offered 2 viewing locations in Dubai, in Al Thuraya Astronomy Center and at the iconic Burj Khalifa building. According to Dubai Astronomy Group, the annular solar eclipse was last seen in UAE 172 years ago and is expected to return again only 83 years later now. People in Manama, Bahrain were also thrilled to witness the Ring of Fire. At Jurong Park in Western Singapore, crowds watched through specially filtered visors and telescopes as the eclipse formed into a fairy circle in the sky. The annular solar eclipse occurs when the moon covers sun's center but leaves its outer edges visible to form a ring or annulus. The Astronomical Society of Singapore said this was the first of the only two annual eclipses visible from Singapore for the rest of the century, hence making it a very rare event. The next chance for Singaporeans to view the annular solar eclipse will be in the year 2063. Last annular solar eclipse was seen 2 decades ago. Astronomers, tourists and residents gathered on the top of Jabal Arba in Al Ahsa Governorate in the heart of Saudi Arabia's eastern province to witness the solar eclipse during sunrise. In Sri Lanka, the eclipse was best visible in northern Jaffna, where 87% of sun was covered by the moon, while in Colombo, about 84% of the sun was eclipsed. The annular eclipse started from Dammam in Saudi Arabia and travelled across Indian Ocean towards southern India, and over the northern part of Sri Lanka, it ended above the Pacific Ocean. In Indonesia, locals gathered to witness the solar eclipse while Muslim residents held prayers to mark the rare solar eclipse sighting. People in Japan witnessed partial solar eclipse. It was the first eclipse which was visible in Japan since January 6, 2019.
Let's now take a short break here, but when we come back, we'll give you some more details on solar eclipse and other celestial phenomena.
Rabindranath Tagore was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1913 for his book Gitanjali. In 1950, he composed the music and lyrics for India's national anthem Jana Gana Mana. And when Bangladesh became independent in 1971, they chose Tagore's song Amar Shonar Bangla as its national anthem. Tagore's life and works have made him a cultural icon, studied the world over, even into the 21st century.
क्या इस कानून के आने के बाद 3 पड़ोसी देशों के मुस्लिम लोगों को कभी भारत की नागरिकता नहीं मिल सकती? जी नहीं। वर्तमान समय में किसी भी विदेशी व्यक्ति को भारत की नागरिकता प्राप्त करने के लिए तय कानूनी प्रक्रिया का हिस्सा बनना होगा। ये प्रक्रिया नागरिकता कानून के सेक्शन 5 और 6 के हिसाब से संचालित की जाती है। नागरिकता संशोधन कानून ऐसे किसी भी प्रावधान में बदलाव नहीं करता। अगर कोई भी विदेशी व्यक्ति, जिसमें तीनों देश के मुस्लिम भी शामिल हैं, वो अगर नागरिकता कानून के सेक्शन 5 और 6 के प्रावधानों के तहत योग्य पाए जाते हैं, तो वो भारतीय नागरिकता के अधिकारी होंगे। साल 2014 में भारत बांग्लादेश सीमा विवाद पर बांग्लादेश के 14,864 नागरिकों को भारतीय नागरिकता दी गई थी। इन सभी का परिक्षेत्र भारतीय सीमा में शामिल किया गया था। इनमें से ज्यादातर मुस्लिम ही थे।
Welcome back. Both lunar and solar eclipses hold utmost significance across the world. An eclipse is a natural and celestial phenomenon. However, in some ancient and modern cultures, solar eclipses were attributed to supernatural causes. Scientists around the world look forward to such phenomena as they can offer a unique opportunity to study celestial bodies.
An eclipse is one of the most unique celestial phenomena in the universe. It takes place when one heavenly body moves into the shadow of another heavenly body. Eclipses on Earth include an eclipse of the moon and an eclipse of the sun. Total solar eclipses are rare events, although they occur somewhere on Earth every 18 months on an average.
Lunar eclipse occurs when, during this orbital motion, moon comes behind Earth. That means Earth stands between sun and moon, and therefore shadow of the Earth falls on Moon, causing the eclipse. While solar eclipse is the other way around. Solar eclipse happens when Moon comes between Sun and Earth, so that as Moon crosses, it covers the Sun, and therefore during the time of totality we don't see the Sun at all.
You see, an eclipse basically is a phenomenon, astronomical phenomenon, in which the shadow of one body falls on another. See, from Earth we can see two types of eclipses. One is lunar eclipse, one is solar eclipse. When the Earth's shadow falls on the Moon, we see a lunar eclipse. And when the Moon's shadow falls on Earth, we see a solar eclipse. But solar eclipse can be of different types. This is because, the Moon, when it goes round the Earth, the distance between the Earth and the Moon changes. It becomes very large and very small. And similarly, Earth also rotates around the Sun in elliptical orbit, so the distance changes. So what kind of eclipse will take place depends on these two distances.
There are three types of solar eclipse: total solar eclipse, partial solar eclipse, and annual solar eclipse. A total solar eclipse is only visible from a small area on Earth. For a total eclipse to take place, the Sun, Moon, and Earth must be in a direct line. The second type of solar eclipse is a partial solar eclipse, which happens when the Sun, Moon, and Earth are not exactly lined up. The Sun appears to have a dark shadow on only a small part of its surface. The third type is an annual solar eclipse. It happens when the Moon is farthest from Earth. Because the Moon is farther away from Earth, it seems smaller. It does not block the entire view of the Sun. The Moon in front of the Sun looks like a dark disk on top of a larger sun-colored disk. This creates what looks like a ring around the Moon.
But the frequency is quite large. They happen almost regularly. I think in 1 year there are 10 eclipses, that kind of thing. But they are mostly partial eclipses, where the Sun is not covered fully. And twice in 3 years, that is every 18 months, there is a time when the size of the Sun and the Moon appear almost the same. So the Moon covers the Sun fully. So we have a total eclipse. When the Moon comes in front of the Sun, it is so small that it is not able to cover the entire Sun. There is a ring around which remains visible even during the full eclipse, at the mid eclipse, because in total eclipse we see the Sun totally covered. But in annular eclipse, even when the eclipse is in the mid stage, that is the maximum eclipse, it is at the center and we can see the ring outside. That is why it is called annular. So there are three types basically: partial eclipse, total eclipse, and annular eclipse.
During the solar eclipse, it is advisable to take several precautions. According to scientists, looking directly at the photosphere of the Sun, even for a few seconds, can cause permanent damage to the retina of the eye because of the intense visible and invisible radiation that the photosphere emits. The Sun's disk can be viewed using appropriate filtration to block the harmful part of the Sun's radiation. Sunglasses do not make viewing the Sun safe. Only properly designed and certified solar filters should be used for direct viewing of the Sun's disk. The safest way to view the Sun's disk is by indirect projection. While lunar eclipses are safe to view without any eye protection or special precautions, as they are dimmer than the full moon.
See, if there is a lunar eclipse, it can be seen from any place on Earth from where the Moon can be seen or Moon is visible. But in case of a solar eclipse, we can see a solar eclipse only from a place where the shadow falls. Outside that, we don't see any eclipse.
Solar and lunar eclipses are valued greatly by scientists. They offer a unique opportunity to study celestial bodies. It also allows scientists to learn more about how weather works in space. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
So while solar eclipses are done for the year and people have watched it across the globe, it is always worth repeating that sky watchers must use safe viewing equipment and proper techniques to view it. Infrared and ultraviolet rays of the Sun that are released during the event can and do cause severe retinal damage. According to NASA, the light from sun triggers a series of complex chemical reactions within the cells, which damages their ability to respond to a visual stimulus and in extreme cases can destroy them. Which is why, as a precautionary measure, proper solar filters with certified appropriate optical density against radiations are recommended to be used in front of optical devices and the naked eye. Aluminized mylar films of approved thickness and transmittivity coated with black polymer are the safest for use in solar goggles. The best method to view a solar eclipse will be to use a pinhole camera or a telescopic projection on a suitable surface. Use of unsafe filters like smoked glass, polarizing filter, sunglasses, photographic neutral density filters, color films are not advised to view the solar phenomena. So happy viewing solar eclipse next time around, and the date, let us remind you once again, is 21st of June 2020. That's it from us in today's edition of In Depth. We'll be back again same time tomorrow with a focus on another key.